This is the final game of the regular season for the Ripon Tiger Girls Volleyball team as the Tigers face the Kettle Moraine Lutheran Chargers in an East Central Conference showdown for first place tonight on Ripon Sports YouTube. Your home for Ripon Tiger Sports. Good evening and welcome to the Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School Gymnasium. I'm Bruce Link with your play-by-play of tonight's WIAA Division II East Central Conference Girls Regular Season Finale Volleyball match on Ripon Sports YouTube. Your home for Ripon Tiger Sports. Thank you for joining me tonight. The Tigers enter tonight with a 4-1 East Central Conference record and are coming off a 3-0 senior night non-conference victory over North Fond du Lac this past Tuesday night, giving Ripon a 13-9 overall record. After 39 years at the helm of the Ripon Tiger volleyball program, Coach Tracy Landerman announced that this will be her last season as Tiger head coach. The Kettle Moraine Lutheran Chargers enter tonight's match with a 5-0 East Central Conference record and 4-16 overall. The Chargers won 1 out of 4 matches at the DSHA Invitational this past Saturday. Last season, the Chargers defeated Ripon 3-0 during the regular season and 2-0 in the East Central Conference tournament. The Tigers had their seeding meeting last night for the WIAA Division II Girls State Volleyball Tournament, and Ripon received a number 3 seed and will host number 14 seeded North Fond du Lac. North Fond du Lac at the Tigers Den with first serve scheduled for 7 p.m. on Tuesday, October 17th, and that's just coming up next week, Tuesday. Let's take a brief break to hear a message from the Ripon Area School District, and when we return, we'll have the opening serve of tonight's WIAA Girls Volleyball match as the Ripon Tigers play the Kettle Moraine Lutheran Chargers in the East Central Conference regular season finale on Ripon Sports YouTube. Your home for Ripon Tiger Sports.
Excellence meets innovation at Ripon Area School District through a commitment to continuous quality improvement. Ripon was awarded $1.9 million in grants to expand support for students and their families with school programming and school-based mental health. Come experience what happens when excellence meets innovation.
Welcome back to Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School. I'm Bruce Link with your play-by-play of tonight's match between the Ripon Tigers and the Kettle Moraine Lutheran Chargers on Ripon Sports YouTube, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports. This is the regular season finale for both teams. If Ripon wins today, the Tigers and the Chargers will share first place. If the Chargers win, Kettle Moraine Lutheran will earn sole possession of the East Central Conference this regular season. Getting ready to do the Star Spangled Banner, and then we'll move on to the introduction of players. Our PA announcer making last-minute public service announcements. Senior night and pink out night here in Kettle Moraine Lutheran tonight. We had that up in Ripon last week too, or this last Tuesday. So a lot of pink here tonight for Kettle Moraine Lutheran, and we're going to hear the national anthem. That's our national anthem as provided by the PA announcer here at Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School. We'll start with the introductions here in just a moment. Other sporting events taking place for Ripon High School today. The Ripon boys soccer team played Sheboygan Falls at 4 o'clock this afternoon at Engels Field. And the final score in that game was 1-1. They tied. That was the final score. Carson Kaiser scored another goal tonight, and that should put him at about 27 goals on the season. He keeps improving upon the record he sets every single game almost. So congratulations to Kaiser on an excellent season, and he'll continue to add to that number through the playoffs, I'm sure. So getting ready for introductions, they'll do Ripon first. Ripon on the left side of your screen. Ripon dressed in black. So the starting lineup for Ripon tonight will be first, number 1, a senior, Carson Bauman. Number 3, a senior, Ari Brooks. Number 5, a sophomore, Emma Reesip. Number 6, a senior, Malia Kowaleski. Number 9, a senior, Callie Krumenauer. Number 13, a senior, Reese Downs. And the libero for Ripon tonight, number 8, a junior, Bryn Carlson, and Ripon coached by Tracy Landerman. She'll step down after 39 years at the helm for Ripon at the end of this season. And the starting lineup is number 1, a 6-foot sophomore.
6-foot middle hitter, number 1,
It says 6 foot on the roster, but they said 6'10". Amber Annenson. Next is number 2, a 5'5" sophomore, Sydney Falkowski. Number 4, a 6-foot senior, Amanda Hillman.
5'10" junior, outside hitter, Audrey Jacqueline.
And number 6, a 5'10" junior, Audrey Jacqueline.
5'7" junior.
A 5'7" junior, number 8, Anna Leong. And next is a 5'10" senior, number 12, Anna Ebert. And the libero tonight, 5'3" junior, Brooklyn Bartlett, or Bartelt. So Kettle Moraine Lutheran is coached by Stephanie Prochnow.
Stephanie Prochnow.
Kettle Moraine Lutheran on the right side of your screen. They're dressed in their pink tonight. Pink for Cancer Awareness Month. As the student section pretty much all decked out in pink. Several of the Kettle Moraine Lutheran fans have pink on tonight. A few of the Ripon fans have pink. And a nice crowd of Ripon students made their way down here tonight to support Ripon. If Ripon wins this tonight, they will win a share of first place with Kettle Moraine Lutheran. If they lose, Kettle Moraine Lutheran will claim honors to the overall East Central Conference regular season championship. Ripon, not sure where they'll finish. It all depends upon where Kewaskum plays tonight or how they place. Other East Central Conference volleyball matches taking place around the conference are Winneconne is at Winneconne and Waupun is at Plymouth. Berlin has already concluded their regular season of play. If you or your business would like to support Ripon Tiger Sports, please email riponsports@ripon.k12.wi.us and we'll get back to you with information on how you can be a Tiger backer. So we're ready to get things started. And first serve will be made by Kettle Moraine Lutheran. That being made by the libero and goes over, taken by Brooks. Set by Downs, back to Brooks. She puts it over and right in the hole to start things off for Ripon. Ripon takes a 1-0 lead and Brooks will go back to serve for Ripon. So Ripon off on the right foot. Let's see if Ari can keep it going. And that's taken by Kettle Moraine Lutheran. They can't keep it active, and that's going to be point number 2 for Ripon. So Brooks will go back and serve again, leading 2-0. That goes over, taken now the set, over to the near side and into the net by Anna Ebert, and that's going to be another Ripon point, and Ripon's up 3-0. You can hear the Ripon crowd in the background, the Ripon student section. They are loud tonight. So set by Kettle Moraine Lutheran, putting it over. Nice dig by Brooks and put it over on the passover. Then Carlson dug it out, putting it over is Downs. The set, and now the hit by Ebert, and that's going to go off Brooks and out the end line. So a point for Kettle Moraine Lutheran as they trail by 2, 1-3. So back to serve, Audrey Jacqueline for KML, taken by Carlson. They get it over to Kowaleski, and Kowaleski puts it down on the swing for the kill. So Ripon up 4-1, and Carlson will step out of the game. Krumenauer goes in for her, and back to serve for the Tigers is Bauman. Bauman with the serve, and that's taken by Falkowski. Set on the other side, blocked at the net by Krumenauer and Kowaleski. Nope, they're going to give the point. They're going to give the point to Kettle Moraine Lutheran, and Bauman comes out. Carlson returns to the game, and back to serve is, looks like to Mackenzie Leering. And Downs with the set, gets it to Krumenauer. Krumenauer puts it over on the swing and over to the near side, getting it over. Brooks takes it, Carlson, and gets it ahead to Kowaleski. Another set over to the near side and rejected by Ripon. Keeping it alive is Kettle Moraine Lutheran. They get it on a passover, and Ripon by Emma Risa puts it over and a hard hit. And they're going to say a touch off Ripon. Well, the line judge indicated a touch, but I'm not sure if that was supposed by Kettle Moraine Lutheran, but the up judge says no, it's Ripon's ball, so Ripon goes up 6-2, and Adley Hatfield comes into the game, and she'll serve. So taken by Bartelt. I'm going to have problems with that name all night long. So Kettle Moraine Lutheran puts down the ball, and that's going to be a point. So they come to within 2, 3-5, and back to serve. Amanda Hillman, taken by Kowaleski, set by Downs behind her to Kowaleski. Kowaleski, nice swing, gets it over and over on the near side, putting it over and out of bounds was Jacqueline. So another point for Ripon as Ripon is doubled up on Kettle Moraine Lutheran, and Kowaleski goes back to serve with Ripon leading by 3. Kowaleski with the serve. Set, and that goes behind her, and a nice hard hit. Goes out the end line, and another point for Ripon as they go up by 4, 7-3, and Kowaleski back to serve once again.
We're at 8.
So off the top of the tape and set over to the near side, just a light tap over. Downs hits it right back over, off the top of the tape, back over to, and that goes out of bounds on the far side, and that'll be Kettle Moraine Lutheran point. So 7-4, Ripon up by 3. Back to serve for Kettle Moraine Lutheran, Molly Murphy. It's a name I remember from softball last year. And Ripon gets it over, goes right up and off the top of the tape and right through the arms of Amber Nanenson, and drops for the point for Ripon. So Ripon doubles up again, 8-4 now, and Carlson back to serve. Bryn Carlson puts it over. That's going to be set, and on the other side, getting it over is Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Kowaleski Downs puts it over on the third hit. And now the hit, and diving for it is Kowaleski, but can't get it up high enough to keep it active, so that's going to be a point for Kettle Moraine Lutheran as they come to within 3, 8-5. And back to serve, Sydney Falkowski. Falkowski taken by Brooks, set by Downs over to Brooks. Brooks gets it over, dug out by Bartelt, and they couldn't get the point on it, so Ripon gets the point. Coming out is Hatfield. Resup returns for the game for Ripon, and Downs back to serve, leading 9-5. That one goes over. Set by Murphy and hit over. Dug out by Downs. Carlson gets it to Brooks. Brooks will push it over. And now it's going to be Bartelt. And Bauman puts it over for Ripon, and we've got a whistle. And it's going to be a Ripon point. I believe they said that the Kettle Moraine Lutheran player went into the net. So point Ripon. Ripon's doubled up again, 10-5. And it'll be Downs back to serve once again for the Tigers. Chargers take the serve, a push over, nice dig by Bryn. Now keeping it alive, Kettle Moraine Lutheran over here to the near side, and Kowaleski Downs and putting it over Resup, and it's going to be called out of bounds. It went over the net, but on the wrong side of the antenna. So point for Kettle Moraine Lutheran. That's going to make it 10-6, Ripon up by 4. And back to serve is Brooklyn Bartelt. So she has a serving error as it goes into the net, and that's Ripon point. Ripon up 11-6, and Ari Brooks, Ripon senior, back to serve. That goes over, taken and set by Murphy and into the net, and it's going to be 4 hits called. So trying to come up and put that over was Anna Ebert. So point Ripon, and they're up 12-6, and Brooks with the serve for the Tigers. So set by Murphy, and that's going to go right between 2 Ripon players and drop for the kill. We've got 2 substitutions, number 8 and number 6. Anna Leong and Audrey Jacqueline both come into the game for the Chargers, and back to serve will be Anna Leong. So serve taken by Carlson, set by Downs, over to Kovalevsky. Hits it hard on the swing, right into the hands of Amanda Hillman. Goes off her hands and drops for the Ripon point. Carlson returns to, Carlson comes out of the game. Bauman goes in. She'll be doing the serving for Ripon. Ripon up 13-7. Serve taken, now the set, and that was Hillman. And now Kovalevsky for Ripon, but she can't get it over the net. It was into the net. So point goes to Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Bauman comes out, Carlson returns. And coming into the game for Kettle Moraine Lutheran, Mackenzie Leering. Another name familiar from softball, Mackenzie. And we have a point for Ripon as we've got, I think she indicated 4 hits by Kettle Moraine Lutheran. We've got a substitution for Ripon as Hatfield comes into the game. Kettle Moraine Lutheran wants a timeout. Ripon leading by 6, 14-8. You're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports.
Ripon Area School District continues to offer the very best educational opportunities to all students. Ripon Tigers are building their future in a high-achieving academic atmosphere, supported by a dedicated professional staff who are passionate about education and are striving for excellence. Come experience what happens when excellence meets innovation.
Welcome back to Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Earlier tonight, the JV teams played. Both of the Ripon JV teams, JV and JV2, lost to Kettle Moraine Lutheran 3-0. So Hatfield with the serve for Ripon as they lead 14-8. Dugout and now set cross court by Kettle Moraine Lutheran, taken by Kovalevsky. Set back to Kovalevsky. She just a light tap over the net and drops it for the point, and that puts Ripon up 15-8, and Hatfield back to serve once again for the Tigers. So Hatfield gets it over, the set on the other side by Leong, and that's going to be hit and out of bounds. Touch off Ripon, so it'll be Kettle Moraine Lutheran with the point, so that'll make it 15-9, and back to serve will be Amanda Hillman. Hillman, long, hard hit, and that goes out the end line. So point Ripon as they go up by 7, 16-9. Ripon wanting to really want to win this. They want to show that Kettle Moraine Lutheran did not deserve the number 1 seed for the tournament. So Kovalevsky with the serve. Set by Leong, and that's hit, taken by Carlson. Set by Downs, over to Brooks. Brooks with a little tap over, dug out, and now goes the wrong way, but hitting over the net is Luring. And Brooks digs it out. Downs hits it straight up, and it come back down right in front of her, the wrong side of the net. So it's going to be a point for Kettle Moraine Lutheran as they come to within 6, 16-10, Ripon lead, and in to serve Molly Murphy. Murphy with the serve, taken by Brooks, set by Downs, and put over by Krumenauer on the free ball. And a hit into Ripon, and Ripon gets it to fall for the point. They blocked it at the net, and they'll go up by 7, 17-10. Bauman goes into the game. Coming out is Krumenauer, and back to serve for Ripon. Carlson with the serve. That's dug out and taken by Murphy. Into the hole by Falkowski. And going into the game is going to be Anna Ebert for Kettle Moraine Lutheran, and back to serve Sydney Falkowski. 17-11, Ripon up by 6. Serve taken by Kovalevsky, set by Downs to Bauman, and Bauman hits it, gets it to go off the hands of one of the front players for Kettle Moraine Lutheran and out of bounds, so point Ripon. Resip returns to the game for Ripon. Hatfield will have a seat. 18-11, Ripon up by 7, and Downs back to serve. That goes over and into the back line. That was Felkowski. Carlson gets it back to Brooks, and Brooks dug out by Bartelt, but can't get it over the net, and that's going to be a Ripon point. 19-11, Ripon up by 8. So Downs back to serve. Serve going to be taken by Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Set by Murphy, and that's going to be a Ripon point as they can't get it over the net on the third hit. Kettle Moraine Lutheran wants another timeout. Ripon leading 20-11. They're ahead by 9. If you or your business would like to support Ripon Tiger Sports, please email ripon.k12.wi.us, and we'll get back to you with information as to how you can be a Tiger backer. This year I will have live streaming coverage of Ripon High School boys and girls basketball games. That's about 40 games. I added that up. We'll have some boys baseball. There will be about 40 girls and girls softball and soccer games, and a possibility of some boys wrestling as well. I probably shouldn't say boys because girls are able to play as well or wrestle. So 20-11, Ripon leading by 9. Downs back to serve for the Tigers coming out of the timeout. And the serve. That's dug out by Ebert. And over on the far side, that's going to be a touch by Ripon and a point for Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Returning to the game for Kettle Moraine Lutheran, Amanda Hillman. And back to serve, Brooklyn Bartelt. And taken by Brooks over to Kowaleski. And then Resip, but Resip can't get it high enough and she hits it into the net. So 20-13, Ripon up by 7. And Bartelt back to serve once again. And that's going to be a long hit. Brooks thought about it, but let it go, and that was long and out the end line. So 21-13, Ripon back up by 8, and Brooks back to serve for the Tigers. That'll be dug out, hit right back at the net, but they're going to say that Kowaleski reached over the net, and they said she can't do that, and so it's going to be a point for Kettle Moraine Lutheran. And going into the game, Anna Leon for the Chargers, and she'll be back to serve as well, trailing by 7, 21-14. Leon with the serve, taken by Brooks, set by Downs. That's going to be a pass over and right at the net. That was Jacqueline, I believe, or Hillman they gave the credit to for the point, as they're now to within 6, 21-15, and Leong back to serve, taken by Brooks, set again by Downs, gets it to Bauman. Bauman taken by Leong, and nobody there to get it as that drops right under the net, so Ripon point as Ripon goes up 22-15, and Carlson comes out, Krumenauer goes in, and Bauman goes back to serve for the Tigers. That's going to be taken by Bartlett, or Bartelt, and Resip tried to keep the ball alive, and miscommunication there. Carson Bauman comes out. Carlson returns to the game for the Tigers. And back to serve for Kettle Moraine Lutheran is Leering. And over to Kowaleski. Kowaleski has it blocked at the net. Set by Downs. Back to Kowaleski. Little tap over. That's dug out. And immediately put back over by the Chargers. And set to Resip. Resip has it taken by Bartelt. And they get it to drop. I believe that was Leong that hit it and got it to drop right in the hole. So Ripon loses another point, and Now a 5-point lead by Ripon, 22-17. Serve set by Downs to Kowaleski. And Kowaleski with a hard swing, and that's going to go off the sidelines, off the Charger player for a Ripon point. Make it 23-17. Recip comes out. Hatfield goes in for Ripon, and she'll be doing the serving for the Tigers. So puts it over. Bartelt, and the set by Leong and put over, but Ripon keeps it alive, and over to Kowaleski. Kowaleski has it go. We're going to give the point to the Chargers. I thought it was a touch myself, but Ripon didn't argue with it. So Kettle Moraine Lutheran back to serve, 23-18, taken by Carlson, set by Downs behind her to Kowaleski. Kowaleski with the pushover, and Krumenauer gets it right over, gets it to drop! Hillman not able to get there in time to get that ball. Hillman comes out of the game, and returning to the game, Bartelt. Ripon, set point for Ripon, 24-18, and Kowaleski with the serve. Taken, Leong with the set over to the near side, and that's going to go off Kowaleski and high and long. So a point for the Chargers. And coming into the game for the Chargers is Molly Murphy along with Emma Lober. And back to serve Molly Murphy. Second set point for Ripon, 24-19. Murphy gets it into the net. Ripon will win the set, 25-19. So Ripon takes set number one here tonight, 25-19. I'm going to take a brief break, get something to drink, stretch my legs a little bit, and we will be back with the start of set number two. Welcome back to the Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School gym. It's pink out night here tonight for Kettle Moraine Lutheran, along with senior night. Ripon wins the first set, 25-19. Ripon would love to get out of here in 3 sets tonight and upset Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Kettle Moraine Lutheran got the number 1 seed for the bracket that Ripon is in. Ripon got the number 3 seed, so Ripon will face North Fond du Lac next Tuesday at the Tigers Den, and Ripon wins that game. Then they will face the winner of the Kewaskum game, and I'm not sure who Kewaskum plays off the top of my head. And look at this, my Cracker Jack person here. Kewaskum is seeded number 6. And it'll be, they'll play number 11 Campbellsport. So if Ripon beats North Fond du Lac, they will play the winner of the Campbellsport-Kewaskum game on Thursday. I believe it's on Thursday at Ripon. So Ripon likely has 2 home games for the regional before they have to go on the road and play probably the number 2 seed, which will be Port Washington. So switch sides here. Kettle Moraine Lutheran is now on the left in the pink, Ripon on the right in the black. I never know for sure when they're going to switch sides and when they aren't. Some schools do it, some don't. So Downs back to serve for Ripon to start things off here in the second set. JV and JV2 both lost to Kettle Moraine Lutheran 3-0 earlier before the varsity game. The Ripon boys varsity soccer team tied Sheboygan Falls tonight in their last regular season game 1-1. And Downs with the serve. That's taken, and now the hit over and long and deep. As that went off Ebert. So Ripon gets the first point. Downs goes back to serve once again for the Tigers. Reese Downs. That's dug out by Bartelt. And over here on the near side, blocked at the net, set by Leong over to the other side. Ebert puts it over, Downs, Carlson, and now it'll be Brooks putting it over. And Ebert, and that one's going to be hit long by Annenson and out of bounds. So another point for Ripon as they go up 2-0 here in the early stages of set number 2. So Reese Downs back to serve once again. Reese is one of the 5 Ripon seniors. That's dug out and goes out of bounds, and nice job by Bartelt to keep that ball, bring it back into the court, keep it alive, and a little push over by Bauman, and that's going to drop for the Ripon point. Ripon goes up 3-0. Got our volume back. We were informed we had no volume. So it's now 4-3, Ripon up by 1 as Kettle Moraine Lutheran scored. So back to serve once again is going to be Brooklyn Bartelt. Puts it over, and Brooks, Downs, and Bauman, and hit right back at the net, right back to Bauman. Bauman couldn't get it high enough to keep it active, so it's going to be a tie score, 4-4, as Kettle Moraine Lutheran has come back to tie things up here, and Bartelt with the serve. And that's going to go off Brooks, and a point for Kettle Moraine Lutheran as they take the lead by 1, 5-4. Brooks went to hit it, and then I think she thought better of it, but she couldn't get her arms out of the way fast enough, because that ball likely would have been out. Bartelt with the hit, and that rattles around in the rafters, taken by Carlson, and Kowaleski will put it over. Leong with the set over to Ebert, saved by Ripon. Downs, and over the net, and now a hit blocked at the net by Ripon. And it's going to be Bartelt, and Chargers get it over, set by Downs over to Brooks. Brooks with a light tap over, and finally on the third hit, Bartelt gets it over. Downs with the set to Bauman. Bauman pushes it over, but Kettle Moraine Lutheran keeps it active. Kovaleski downs with the set to Brooks. Brooks gets it over, dug out, and Leong with the set again to Ebert. Kovaleski for Ripon, and a quick push over by Downs. She tried to go deep with it, but they got that one, kept it active. Downs with the set again for Ripon. That goes to Brooks. And Kettle Moraine Lutheran, Leong, and Ripon. Nice attempt at saving it, but it goes the wrong way and out of bounds on the far side of the court. So that's going to put the Chargers up 6-4, and Brooklyn Bartelt back to serve once again. Ripon needs to take a deep breath and recollect themselves here before this set gets away from them. And that's served right to Brooks. Carlson now putting it over Bauman, and off the top of the tape, Leong got it, and it's going to go off the hands of Downs in the wrong way, so a touch for Ripon. Kettle Moraine Lutheran gets the point, and it's 7-4 as Kettle Moraine Lutheran now up by 3. Ripon wants a timeout. We'll take the timeout with them, and we'll be back right after this message from the Ripon Area School District.
The Ripon Area School District mission is empowering learners, engaging community, and enriching the world. Ripon students follow this in early childhood programs, project-based charter schools, K-12 engineering courses, strong fine arts offerings, extracurricular offerings, and the Start College Early program. Come experience what happens when excellence meets innovation.
Welcome back to Charger Gymnasium. Ripon now trailing 7-4. You're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube. Your home for Ripon Tiger Sports. Brooklyn Bartelt back to serve, and that's going to be out of bounds and point Ripon. So a serving error by Bartelt, and Ripon comes to within 2, 7-5. And Brooks with the serve. Leong with the set. She gets it to Hillman. Hillman hits it into the net. So an error by Hillman gives Ripon the point. Ripon now to within 1, 7-6. Ari Brooks with the serve once again for the Tigers. That's dug out. Leong with the set over to Hillman. Hillman puts it over, and that's going to be out of bounds. So another point for Ripon, and that'll tie us up at 7 apiece. So Ripon coming back from being down by 3 to tie this up here, and Ari Brooks with the serve for the Tigers. That's taken by Bartelt. Leong with the set over to Ebert, and Ebert drops it in the back near corner for the kill. So 8-7 now for the Chargers, and Leong goes back to serve for Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Serve going to be taken by Carlson, set by Downs behind her to Bauman. Bauman puts it over, but it's going to be long out the end line. Not far out the end line, but it's a point for Kettle Moraine Lutheran. They're back up by 2, and Leong back to serve. That'll be taken by Brooks, set by Downs, and that'll go to Risa. Risa puts it over, Bartelt, and a hit over the net by Hillman on the near side, goes off a Ripon hand and out of bounds, so point for Kettle Moraine Lutheran, and they're back up by 3. Leong back to serve. 10-7 our score. Kettle Moraine Lutheran with the lead. And Carlson set by Downs to Bauman. Bauman has it blocked at the net. She pushes it back over. Leong with the set to Hillman. Hillman hits it into the net, so an error by Hillman makes it 10-8. Ripon comes to within 2, and Carson Bauman goes back to serve. Carlson comes out. Krumenauer goes in for the Tigers. Ripon trailing by 2 on the serve by Bauman. And that's going to be set by Leong over to Ebert. And Downs will set it to Kovaleski. Kovaleski with the hit off the hands of Hillman. It was either Hillman or Jacqueline. I'm not sure just which one of the two. That went the wrong way and out the end line for the Ripon point. So Ripon back to within 1, 10-9, and Bauman ready to serve it once again. That goes over, and that's dug out. Leong with the set, gets it to Ebert, Downs. Now Brooks to Kowaleski. Kowaleski cross court, and we're going to have out of bounds. And I think it went on the wrong side of the antenna. So it's going to be a point for the Chargers. They lead 11-9, and back to serve Murphy. Brooks, Downs with the set to Kowaleski, and now it's going to go off Bartelt and out of bounds. So Ripon gets the point, and coming in for Ripon, Hatfield. Recip will sit down. Ripon down by 1, 11-10, as Hatfield goes back to serve. Hatfield with the serve, that's dug out. Leon with the set, over to the far side. They give that to Falkowski. Downs now to Kowaleski. Kowaleski puts it over, dug out by Leering, and now put over by Falkowski. Downs with the set for Ripon. Krumenauer, and it's going to go. Nice attempt to put it right inside the line, but it went a little long and outside the line on the near side. So returning to the game is Annenson for the Chargers. 12-10. And make it 13-10 now as Hillman back to serve. Chargers up by 3. Carlson, Downs to Kowaleski. Kowaleski with the hit. Nice swing by Kowaleski, went off the hands of, I believe that was Jacqueline, and out of bounds. So Kowaleski will go back to serve. Ripon trailing 13-11. 2-point deficit for the Tigers. That's dug out by Falkowski, set by Leong, back to Falkowski, she gets it over. Ripon Annenson putting it over and dropping it for the kill. So 14-11, Chargers ahead by 3, and back to serve Molly Murphy for the Chargers. And that's taken by Brooks, set by Downs, back to Brooks. Brooks puts it over, and that's going to be hit, and going to be a hit in the wrong direction, and that brings Ripon back to within 2, 14-12. Bauman goes into the game, Krumenauer comes out, and Carlson goes back to serve. And speaking of Carlson, we want to thank all the Carlson faithful for joining us tonight. And pushed over by Kettle Moraine Lutheran, dug out by Carlson, and now she'll push it back over to Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Over to the other side, it's Hillman, and now Ripon Brooks. Brooks dug out by Bartelt, and now it's going to be Falkowski, and it's going to be Bauman putting it back over, and diving for it is Leering, but she can't get to it. A point for Ripon, and Ripon now back to within 1, 14-13, and Carlson with the serve. Taken by Bartelt at the line, and now pushed over by Annenson. Downs with the set for Ripon, gets it to Brooks. And they get it to Annenson, blocked at the net by Bauman and Brooks. And then over to the other side, Falkowski. Carlson, Downs, back to Carlson. She pushes it over for the Tigers. And now a hard hit, but that's going to be long and out the end line by Annenson. So 14-13. Oh, we've got Ripon student section and spectators really upset. They're saying that Ripon touched the ball. So point goes to Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Kowaleski, the team captain, goes over to question it. They didn't indicate a number, so Kettle Moraine Lutheran now up 15-13, and Falkowski back to serve, leading by 2. That's taken by Kowaleski. Downs with the set, over to Brooks. Brooks puts it over, and a set, and that comes back over to Ripon. Downs with the set, gets it to Bauman, but she hits it into the net, so an error by Bauman makes our score 16-13. 3 points to the good for the Chargers. Falkowski back to serve again. That'll be taken by Brooks. Downs back to Brooks. Brooks pushes it over, and Falkowski, we have a whistle, and they're going to call a double hit on Ripon. So 17-13, Chargers now with a 4-point lead. Falkowski steps back to serve once again. That'll be taken by Kowaleski. That's a pass over, and right at the net, it's Annenson pushing it right back over the net. Coach Landerman said that she was over the net, but that went on deaf ears. So 18-13, Ripon trailing by 5 now. Goes off Brooks. Kowaleski gets it back to Brooks. Brooks gets it over, dug out by Bartelt, and over to the other side, it's Ebert, blocked at the net by Bauman, but it's going to go cross court and out of bounds here on the near side. So another point for Kettle Moraine Lutheran, as Kettle Moraine Lutheran now leading by 6, 19-13. Let's take a brief break. We'll be back for the remainder of set number 2. You're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports.
Excellence meets innovation at Ripon Area School District through a commitment to continuous quality improvement. Ripon was awarded $1.9 million in grants to expand support for students and their families with school programming and school-based mental health. Come experience what happens when excellence meets innovation.
Welcome back to Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School. I'm Bruce Link with your play-by-play tonight of Ripon High School Girls Volleyball. This game for first place tonight. Ripon won the first set, 25-19. Kettle Moraine Lutheran leading here in the second set, 19-13. And Falkowski with the serve. Brooks tries to put it over, blocked at the net by Emma Lober, and goes back over to the Ripon side, and that's going to drop for the Charger point, and they're up by 7, 20-13. Falkowski once again back to serve. That'll go deep and long. Kowaleski thought about it, but then decided not to take it, and that went long. So point for Ripon, 20-14. Ripon down by 6. Recep returns to the game for Ripon. Hatfield has a seat, and back to serve for the Tigers is Downs. Serve by Downs, taken by Ebert, and now Ebert comes up, hits it over off the hands of Ripon, so it drops for the kill, and that's going to be a Charger point, and back to serve Bartelt. 21-14, Chargers up by 7. Brooks, Downs, gets it over to Bauman. Bauman with a light push over. Set over to Ebert. Ebert gets it over. Brooks, Downs with the set, back to Kowaleski. It blocked at the net by Hillman, and that's going to be a point for the Chargers, and 22-14. Ripon now trailing by 8. Bartelt back to serve again, leading by 8, and that's going to be a service error by Bartelt as it went into the net, so gives Ripon the point, brings them to within 7, 22-15, and Ari Brooks back to serve for Ripon. Serve goes over, taken by Bartelt, and then put over by Lober, and now Ripon. Kowaleski blocked at the net by Hillman, but Ripon's going to get the ball to drop on the Chargers side. So 22-16, Ripon to within 6, and Brooks back to serve once again. Sends it over, and the set goes to Lober, but she puts it into the net, so another point Ripon. Ripon now to within 5, and Brooks steps back to the service line and serves once again for Ripon. So serve taken, now the set over to the far side to Hillman. And Hillman has it, goes off the hands of Bauman and Resip, and that's going to be a point for the Chargers. Going into the game, Leong as well as Jacqueline. So Leong goes back to serve with the score 23-17, Chargers up by 6. That's taken by Carlson. Downs with the set over to Kowaleski. Kowaleski with the push over, and third hit, gets it over. Carlson Downs with the set to Kowaleski. Kowaleski puts it over, but long and out the end line. So this will bring us to set point for the Chargers, 24-17. Up at one set apiece here, and Downs gets it to, actually Downs put it over for Ripon, and now the hit, and they called it on the line on the end, so that's going to be 25-17 win for Kettle Moraine Lutheran. So we're tied up at one set apiece. So a good match tonight. Teams will switch sides, tied at one set apiece. We'll be back after a brief break and bring you the the third set when we get ready to start the third set of tonight's game. Got a long break here, so gonna take the time to use the time. They give us 5 minutes between the second and third sets. So passing boots around for Cancer, fill the boot night for the pink out night. So we'll see how they do with that. I don't know if they'll announce how much they raised tonight, but clever idea using a takeoff on muscular dystrophy's fireman fill the boot campaign. So we'll be back in just a little bit. Welcome back to Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School. I'm Bruce Link with your play-by-play tonight. You're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports. We've got just under 40 seconds remaining before we get set number 3 started. Ripon winning the first set, 25-19. Then they lost the second set, 17-25. So that takes us to set number 3. And we will definitely play at least 4 sets tonight. I was kind of hoping Ripon would get out of here with 3 sets so that we wouldn't get home quite so late. This is probably one of the longest drives. As I mentioned earlier, the Ripon soccer team, boys soccer team, tied Sheboygan Falls in the regular season finale today up at Ingalls Field. 1-1, and I see a few of the soccer players have made their way down here to Jackson to support the girls here tonight. Teams have switched sides of the court, so Ripon now on the left in the black, Kettle Moraine Lutheran on the right in the pink. Your Tigers on the floor for Ripon to start the third set. Emma Riesop, Carson Bauman, Malia Kowalewski, Bryn Carlson, Reese Downs, and Ari Brooks. For Kettle Moraine Lutheran, it's going to be Brooklyn Bartelt, Audrey Jacqueline, Sydney Felkowski, Amanda Hillman, Anna Ebert, and I can't see, looks like Leong. So serve. And Downs with the set, gets it back to Brooks, and Brooks just a light tap over and gets it to fall right behind the front line, and Ripon starts off with a 1-0 lead here in the third set. Ari Brooks goes back to serve for the Tigers. And that's going to be taken by Ebert, set by Leong to Hillman, blocked at the net by Bauman, and Kettle Moraine Lutheran kept it alive. They got it back over, and Ripon couldn't get a control on the ball, so that's going to fall and tie things up here at 1 apiece. And Leong goes back to serve for the Chargers. Serve goes over, taken by Carlson. Downs with the set to Kowalewski on the far side. A nice swing by Kowalewski. Diving for it was Falkowski, but she couldn't hit the ball. It went along the ground, so Ripon gets the point, and they go up by 1, 2-1, and Bauman back to serve. Bauman gets it over. Leong with the set to Ebert. Ebert has it. They got it over to Kowalewski. Kowalewski with a nice swing. That's going to go off Felkowski. So Ripon now up 3-1, and Bauman back to serve once again. Great to see such a strong Ripon student section here tonight. Overpass by Kettle Moraine Lutheran, set by Downs over to Kowalewski, and that went off the hand. I believe that was Hillman, and dropped to the floor. So another point for Ripon as the Tigers go up 4-1, and Bauman back to serve. That's taken by Felkowski. Leong with the set to Hillman. Hillman hits it into the net, and another point for Ripon. They're up 5-1. And up off the bench for Kettle Moraine Lutheran is Elizabeth Elke as she comes in for Jacqueline. I think that's the first time we've seen Elke. That's the first time I've said her name anyway. Bauman with the serve, leading 5-1. And Leong with the set, gets it to Ebert. It goes off the hands of Ripon. Bauman, Downs, and now Kowalewski will hit it over. Off Felkowski, and at the net, Krumenauer puts it right back down. So Ripon with the point, and Ripon up by 5, 6-1. Bauman back to serve once again. Waiting for the ball to be sent back in. And Carson Bauman, one of the 5 Ripon seniors, with the serve. And taken by Bartelt. Leong with the set, and she got it over to Hillman. She hit it wing, and that went off Ripon, so on the touch. So they come to within 4. It's 6-2, Ripon with the lead. And back to serve, that's Leering. Kowalewski, and a nice job. If Leering had not have taken that ball, that would have been long and out the end line. Now Kowalewski gets it back over. Leong with the set to Hillman, and that's saved by Brooks, and Downs will put it over on the third hit. Leong with a quick put over, and Carlson dived for it. Krumenauer reached behind her, and the ball went the wrong way. And it's a point for the Chargers. They trail 3-6. Downs gets it over to Kowalewski. Kowalewski with the hit. That goes off Leering, and now Leering comes up, pushes it over, and Downs with the set over to Kowalewski. She gets it over, knocked back over. Kowalewski gets it back over, and we've got a whistle, and they're going to call, it didn't indicate what the call was, but anyway, it's a Ripon point as Ripon goes up by 4, 7-3. And Hatfield comes into the game, Recip goes out, and Hatfield with the serve for the Tigers. Hatfield, a lefty for Ripon, and a set, and a hit by Hillman. She dropped that right at the feet of the line judge. So Hillman with the point, and that makes it 7-4. Ripon with the lead by 3, and Hillman back to serve. And that goes off the top of the tape, doesn't clear the net. Hillman, one of the, I believe it's three seniors for Kettle Moraine Lutheran, as Ripon doubles up on the Chargers. 8-4 now, and Kowalewski back to serve. Serve goes over. Taken by Leering, set, and over to the near side. It was Velikowski, and Brooks puts it over for Ripon. Leong, and putting it over, and finally on the third hit, I don't know how she did it, but Kowalewski got it over, and now a hard long hit by Falkowski. Cross court is going to give Ripon the point as it goes out of play, and Ripon goes up by 5, 9-4. Kowalewski with the serve. That's going to be taken by Leering, set by Leong, and hit over Annenson, and goes off Kowalewski, and into the game for the Chargers is Molly Murphy, along with Emma Lober. Murphy goes back to serve, trailing 5-9. Brooks gets it to Downs. Downs back to Krumenauer. Krumenauer gets it over the net, and right at the net it's Brooks, and we've got at the net going off the hands, and now finally on the third hit, Downs gets it over, and the set on the other side goes off the hands of Ripon and drops for the Charger point. That'll make it 6-9. Chargers down by 3, and back to serve is Molly Murphy once again. So that's taken by Brooks, set by Downs. Instead, she pushes it over, and a nice dive by Leering gets it back over, and Brooks at the net, gets it over, dug out, and it's going to be Annenson as she puts it over, and they're going to call that in. It must have been just inside the line or on the line to get the point. So Chargers now to within 2 as they trail 7-9. Leering, or excuse me, that's Murphy with the serve. Brooks puts it over for Ripon. Bartelt, and now on the far side it's going to be Lober, and it'll fall for the Charger point, and Chargers now to within 1, 8-9. So Ripon wants a timeout. We'll take it with them and be back after this message. You're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports.
Ripon Area School District continues to offer the very best educational opportunities to all students. Ripon Tigers are building their future in a high-achieving academic atmosphere, supported by a dedicated professional staff who are passionate about education and are striving for excellence. Come experience what happens when excellence meets innovation.
Welcome back to the Charger Gymnasium. Ripon Chargers trailing at the moment, 8-9 against Ripon after the timeout. And back to serve Molly Murphy for the Chargers. Ripon with a 1-point lead. Murphy with the serve. And that's long and deep out the end line. So Ripon gets the point as they go up by 2, 10-8. And back to serve for Ripon, Carlson. Carlson puts it over. And Bartelt couldn't control the serve, and that's going to fall for the ace for Carlson. So Ripon goes up by 3, 11-8. Exactly the kind of match we'd expected here tonight. And the set to Annenson, blocked at the net, but that's going to go out of bounds off Ripon on the touch. So point for the Chargers as it's 9-11, and back to serve Felkowski. Taken by Carlson, set by Downs, other side to Brooks. Brooks puts it over and it goes off the outstretched hands of Felkowski and out the end line. So point. Downs will go back to serve, leading 12-9. That goes off the top of the tape, dug out by Ebert, and now the other side, it's Annenson, and Ripon tried to get it over, but not high enough, and that will be a point for the Chargers as Bartelt back to serve. 10-12, trailing by 2, taken by Brooks. Resup, and then Carlson will put it over on the third hit. Bartelt gets it over, and it's going to be Ebert putting it over for the Chargers. Set by Downs over to Brooks, and Brooks gets it to fall, and it's a touch by the Chargers. So Ripon goes up by 3, 13-10, and Ari Brooks back to serve. Brooks has it taken by Leering and set over to Hillman, and that's going to fall off a Ripon touch. And Leon comes into the game along with Elke for the Chargers. Leon will go back to serve as Chargers trail 11-13. Served by Leon, taken by Brooks. Downs comes in, and Carlson will put it over on the third hit. Leering set by Leon behind her, and that's going to go off a Ripon touch. And diving for it was Brooks, but she couldn't control it once it goes out the back line. So it's now Chargers trailing by 1, 12-13, and Leon back to serve again. Puts that one over, taken by Brooks, set by Downs behind her to Bauman. Right back at Bauman, and that's going to end up dropping for the Charger point, and we're tied up at 13 apiece. So Leon will step back behind the service line to serve once again. Taken by Brooks. Downs with the set over to Kowaleski. Kowaleski right into the girls, right at the net, and that's going to fall for the Ripon point. On the touch by the Chargers. Ripon back up by 1, 14-13. Trumanauer goes into the game for Ripon. Carlson sits down, and Bauman will step back to serve. That's going to be taken by Felkowski. And a long hit by Hillman out the end line, so another Ripon point, and it'll be 15-13. Tigers up by 2. Bauman with the serve once again. So serve put over, taken by Felkowski. Over to the other side, it was Ebert, and right back over to Ripon. Brooks over to Kowaleski. Kowaleski pushes it over, goes off the Chargers, and then they get it over on the third hit, and nobody there. I don't know if they thought it was going to go over the net, but it fell on the Ripon side for the Charger point. And going into the game for the Chargers, Mackenzie Luring, as they trail 14-15. Luring with the serve, and that's taken by Brooks, set by Downs over to Kowalewski. Kowalewski with a error into the net. We're tied up at 15 apiece. Luring back to serve once again for the Chargers. Pink out night here for the Chargers. Brooks takes the serve, set by Downs to Kowalewski. Kowalewski with a light tap over. Leong keeps it alive, put it over. Downs takes it on the overpass, and it's going to be Hillman putting it over, and it goes off the hands of Reesup, out of bounds in front of the Ripon bench. So a point for the Chargers as they take the lead, 16-15. Mackenzie Luring with the serve, taken by Brooks, set by Downs to Kowalewski on the far side. Kowalewski hits it, and that's called out of bounds. At first it was indicated by the up judge that it was Ripon point, but now the down judge is saying it's a Ripon point. Now they're going to say it's a Ripon point. Not sure what changed the up judge's mind, but now they're going to go and question it. But 16, that was a Ripon point. Hatfield will go back to serve for Ripon. 16-16, tied up here. Hatfield with the serve, taken by Bartelt and pushed over by Hillman. Ripon can't control it. Now it's going to drop for the Charger point, and Chargers go back up by one, 17-16. And coming into the game, Annenson back to serve for the Chargers is Hillman. That's taken by Carlson, set by Downs, back to Kowalewski. Kowalewski goes cross court on a nice swing, but way too hard and out of bounds. Puts the Chargers up 18-16. Ripon trailing by two, and Hillman with the serve. And that one's off the top of the tape. Dug out by Kowalewski, set by Downs. The Krumenow blocked at the net. And that was blocked by, was that Felkowski? Yes, that was Felkowski. And it's now 19-16. Chargers with a 3-point lead. Served by Hillman, set by Downs to Kowalewski. Kowalewski puts it over, and they kept it alive and over on the third hit. Carlson, Downs with the set on the far side to Kowalewski, and this time Kowalewski puts it down for the kill. 19-17, Ripon comes to within two as Kowalewski back to serve for Ripon. Close match here, we're in the third set. Kowalewski with the set, taken by Luring. And now put over long and hard by Annenson, out of bounds. So Ripon point, and that brings us to 19-18. Ripon down by one, and Kowalewski back to serve. That's taken by Luring, and saving it off the net, but then it goes out of bounds in front of the Charger bench. And we've got a timeout by the Chargers. We're tied up at 19 apiece here at Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School. This is for bragging rights of first place. It's either going to be Ripon and Kettle Moraine Lutheran tying tonight for first place in the regular season conference title, or it's going to be Kettle Moraine Lutheran coming away with the outright title. We'll just have to wait and see how this all plays out tonight. My next scheduled broadcast on Ripon Sports YouTube will be Saturday, October 14th, as the Ripon Tiger Girls Volleyball team will host the East Central Conference Volleyball Tournament at the Tigers Den, with first serve scheduled for around 10 a.m. right here on Ripon Sports YouTube. Your home for Ripon Tiger Sports. Take a moment to thank you all for joining me tonight. Glad you could all be here with us. And we're coming out of the timeout and getting ready to get started as we're tied up at 19-19, and Malia Kowalewski back to serve for Ripon. Kowalewski puts it over. That's taken by Felkowski put over by Leering. Downs with the set to the other side to Brooks. Back to Leering. And set by Leong. Over to the near side, it's Felkowski. Carlson digs it out. Set by Downs to Krumenauer. And that's going to go out of bounds on the far side on a touch. They're going to call a touch by Chargers. So Ripon point. That'll make it Ripon up by 1, 20-19. The line judge on the far side said it was a touch. So point for Ripon. And Kowaleski with the serve. So that's dug out by Felkowski. And now the hit by Annenson. Brooks puts it over on the third hit for the Tigers. Leong gets it to Felkowski, and Ripon, they tried their best to keep that ball alive, but it's going to be a point for the Chargers. And we're tied up at 20 apiece. Coming into the game for the Chargers, Molly Murphy and Emma Lober. Murphy will go back to serve for the Chargers. So Murphy with the serve, gets it over, set by Downs to Brooks. Brooks pushes it over. Now it's going to be hit over by Lober and blocked at the net by Krumenauer. So Ripon point, and Ripon goes up by 1, 21-20. So Callie Krumenauer with the point for Ripon, and Carlson back to serve for the Tigers. That's taken by Leering. Now the set, get it to Annenson, got it over. Ripon got it back over. Now Annenson with a hard swing, and that's going to drop right at the feet of Carlson for the point. And we're tied up at 21-21, and back to serve for the Chargers will be Sydney Felkowski. Felkowski puts it off the top of the tape and right back over to the Chargers. They get it over. It's going to be Hatfield. Now Downs gets it over to Brooks. And keeping it alive on the third hit. Now Downs with the swing or the set and get it over to the Chargers. Coming out of the back is Felkowski. Downs hits it. Carlson gets it to Brooks. Brooks hits it over. And that's going to be an overpass by the Chargers. And they tried to block it at the net. And Downs gets it to drop. Ebert couldn't get it back over. So, they're going to call it on Ripon that the point goes to the Chargers. It's actually going to be 22-21. Chargers up by 1. I thought it was the other way around, and Kettle Moraine Lutheran, Ripon not happy. They said there was more than 4 hits. And so now it's Downs with the set over to Brooks, and Ripon keeps fighting and finally get the kill. 22-22 our score. Risa returns to the game for Ripon. Hatfield has a seat. We're tied up at 22-22, and Downs back to serve for the Tigers. So the serve goes over, and that's going to be a miscommunication as Ebert and Barkelt try to both go at the ball. It's going to go out of bounds, so it gives Ripon the point, 23-22. Downs with the serve once again. We've got a timeout, and while they do that, we'll take a break and listen to this message from the Ripon Area School District.
The Ripon Area School District mission is empowering learners, engaging community, and enriching the world. Ripon students follow this in early childhood programs, project-based charter schools, K-12 engineering courses, strong fine arts offerings, extracurricular offerings, and the Start College Early program. Come experience what happens when excellence meets innovation.
Welcome back to Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School Charger Gymnasium, and Ripon leading 23-22 here in the third set. We're tied up at 1 set apiece. Downs back to serve for the Tigers. If we go 5 sets, I hope my voice can hold out. Exciting night tonight for both teams. As Reese with the serve, and that's dug out by Ebert. And trying to put it over Annenson, but it goes into the net on an error. So set point for Ripon as it's 24-22. Downs with the serve for the Tigers, leading by 2. Set point for the Tigers. Taken by Bartelt. The set back to Ebert. Carlson gets it to Brooks. Brooks puts it over on the second hit. And now it's going to be Annenson, and that's going to be a point for the Chargers as they come to within 1, 23-24. So second set point for Ripon as Bartelt back to serve. Ripon leading 24-23. Yeah, serve goes over, taken by Brooks, set by Downs, back to Brooks. Brooks puts it over, taken by Bartelt. Set to, that was a set to Hillman. Hillman put it over and right on the corner and on the far side, right at the feet of the line judge, and we're tied up at 24-24. So set point, third set point for Ripon, first set point, excuse me, this is not set point, my error. This is no longer set point. Now it's set point for the Chargers as we're 25-24. And back to serve, Bartelt once again for the Chargers. Leading by 1, taken by Brooks. Downs, and Brooks will push it over. Taken by Lober and over to Ebert. Ebert gets it over, dug out by Downs. And Brooks will put it over off the fingertips of the Chargers, and now it's Kowaleski. Downs with the set to Brooks. Brooks gets it over and blocked at the net. And Downs gets it over on the third hit. And to get it back, it was Leering. And hard hit, blocked at the net by Ripon. Felt Bartelt and Bauman, and Brooks finally got it over. Bartelt over to Ebert. Ebert has it blocked at the net, but Ripon cannot get it to go over, and it's going to be a point for the Chargers, and the Chargers will win set number 3, 26-24. So the Chargers take a 2-1 set lead here over Ripon, and teams will switch sides. We'll have a short break while they get ready for set number 4. In the meantime, I'm going to take a slight break myself, and we'll be back for the start of set number 4. You're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports. Welcome back to Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School Charger Gymnasium as Kettle Moraine Lutheran took set number 3, 26-4. We're getting ready to start set number 4. I'm Bruce Link with your play-by-play tonight here at Jackson, Wisconsin. Ripon winning the first set 25-19, and then Kettle Moraine Lutheran has come back to take the next two sets 25-17 and then 26-24 in set number 3. Ripon boys soccer tonight played their final game of the regular season as they tied Sheboygan Falls 1-1 at Ripon's Ingalls Field. Want to send a congratulations out to Carson Kaiser. Carson increased his individual season scoring record to 27 goals tonight. He had the lone goal for Ripon. So teams have switched sides. Ripon on the right, Chargers on the left. In the pink, Ripon in the black. And we're getting ready to start. And Reese Downs on the floor for Ripon. Kowalewski, Carlson, Brooks, Reese, and Bauman. So Downs to do the serving for Ripon, start things off here in set number 4. And that's dug out by Bartelt. Over to the far side, it's Ebert getting it over. Carlson gets it over here to the near side to Brooks. Brooks pushes it over. Set by Leong and a hard hit and out of bounds off Annenson. Annenson trying to lobby for a touch, but to no avail, and Ripon goes up 1-0 here in the 4th set. Downs back to serve once again. And that one's going to be a service error by Downs as it goes into the net, so it gives Kettle Moraine Lutheran a free point. 1-1 our score, and back to serve Bartelt for the Chargers. So that's going to be a long hit by Bartelt, and that goes out the end line, so a free point for Ripon. And Ripon now up by 1, 2-1. Brooks back to serve for the Tigers. That's taken. Leong with the set over to Ebert. Ebert hits it, and that's going to be long and out of bounds. So another point for Ripon as Ripon goes ahead 3-1. Brooks with the serve. Set by Leong and gets it to Hillman. Brooks, or Downs rather, tried to get it to Bauman, but on the net she couldn't get it back over, so a point to the Chargers as Chargers come to within 1, 2-3, and Leong back to serve. Serve taken by Carlson. That'll be set by Downs to Kowalewski. Kowalewski with a nice swing and getting it back over, but out of bounds is Hillman. Just kind of took a wild swing at the ball and got it over, but went wild and out of bounds. So puts Ripon up 4-2. Thank you for that. I forgot to change my screen. I knew I had a microphone for sound, but I forgot to change the screen. So Ripon up 4-3. Chargers with the serve. Downs with the set now to Kowalewski. Kowalewski as it goes off the hands of Hillman, and they try to set it to Hillman. She can't push it over, so Ripon will get another point. So 4-3 is our score, and Hatfield serves. And a pass over by the Chargers. Carlson gets it to Kowalewski. Kowalewski with the long hit, and that hits right on the corner at the feet of the line judge. So that puts Ripon up. They double up on him 6-3. And Hatfield back to serve once again. So Hatfield with the serve taken by the Chargers, put over by Hillman. Downs with the set to Kowaleski, and that goes off the hands of the Chargers and out of bounds, so Ripon point. Leering took a dive for it, going backwards, but couldn't control the ball, so it's 7-3 now. Ripon up by 4. Hatfield back to serve. And that's taken by Leering. Leong, and pushing it over at the very last second was Hillman. So a point for the Chargers as Annenson comes in. Hillman goes back to serve, trailing 4-7. Hillman has the serve taken by Carlson. And now Kowaleski, and that, oh! That sure looked like it dropped inside the line to me, but line judge said otherwise. 7-5, Ripon up by 2, and Kowaleski Downs. Kowaleski will put it over on the swing. Leon gets it to Falkowski. Dug out by Brooks, and now put over by Kowaleski. Leon with the set, and it's hit into the net by Jacqueline on the other side, and that's going to be a Ripon point. So Ripon back up by 3, 8-5, and Kowaleski back to serve. Malia Kowaleski, one of Ripon's 5 seniors, and that's dug out by Bartelt. They keep it alive and get it over. Downs gets it up. Carlson will push it over for Ripon. Leong with the set, and she tried to get it to Annenson, but Annenson couldn't get it over as Ripon blocked it. And now it's going to be Ripon ball. They get it over. Unbelievable. Annenson gets it over. Downs with the set. Gets it to third hit for Ripon. Nice rally going here, and Chargers get it over. Downs with the set. Gets it to Brooks, and Brooks drops it for the kill. Nice job by both teams of keeping that ball going, but Brooks got it to drop in the hole for the Ripon kill and puts Ripon up by 4, 9-5, and Kowaleski back to serve once again for the Tigers. That's taken by Leering, and they set it to the other side. Falkowski taken by Brooks. Now they get it back to Kowaleski. She puts it over, taken by Leering. Leong with the set. Annenson puts it over. And now it's Downs to Brooks. Brooks gets it over, and it's going to fall off the hands of Annenson for the Ripon point. So that'll make our score. Just make sure they don't add one. It's 10-5. Ripon is doubled up on Kettle Moraine Lutheran here. And Kowaleski with the serve. That's going to be taken by Leering. Leong with the set. Right in the middle to Annenson, and she puts it down for the kill. That'll make it 10-6, Ripon up by 4. And back to serve will be Molly Murphy, trailing by 4, 6-10. So Murphy with the serve, taken by Carlson. Downs with the set to Brooks. Brooks gets it over, and diving for it was Falkowski, and Ripon hits it right back over, and a point for Ripon, and they go up by 5, 11-6. As Krumenauer comes out of the game, Bauman goes in, and back to serve Carlson. That's taken by Bartelt, and a hit over by Falkowski, blocked at the net by Brooks. So Ripon back up by 6, 12-6. Carlson goes back to serve, but Chargers want a timeout here in the 4th set. And we'll take the timeout with them. You're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports.
The Ripon Area School District mission is empowering learners, engaging community, and enriching the world. Ripon students follow this in early childhood programs, project-based charter schools, K-12 engineering courses, strong fine arts offerings, extracurricular offerings, and the Start College Early program. Come experience what happens when excellence meets innovation.
Welcome back to Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School. I'm Bruce Link with your play-by-play of tonight's action between the Ripon Tigers and the Kettle Moraine Lutheran Chargers here on senior night and pinkout night for the Chargers. Carlson with the serve for Ripon as Ripon leading 12-6, and Annenson with the swing and drops it for the kill for the Chargers. Coming out of the game, leering for the Chargers, going in Ebert, and back to serve is Felkowski for the Chargers, trailing 7-12. And that serve is taken by Kowaleski, set by Downs to Bauman, and Bauman with a light tap right behind the front line gets it to drop, and so that puts Ripon up 13-7. And coming off the bench and coming into the game, McKenna Berg for the Chargers, and for Ripon, Recep returns to the game. Hatfield will have a seat, and Reese Downs back to serve. 13-7, that's taken by Bartelt. The set over to the other side to Ebert, and Ebert with a hard swing, and that's going to go out the end line, and that'll put Ripon up by 7, 14-7. And Downs with the serve once again for the Tigers. So serve goes over, taken by Bartelt. Now the set, and that's to Annenson, and they called it in. It was right near the back line. So coming out is Annenson. Hillman returns to the game, and back to serve is Bartelt, trailing 8-14. And Bauman with the hit for Ripon and gets it to drop for the point in the back corner. So that puts Ripon ahead 15-8, and Brooks with the serve. And that's taken by Felkowski. Set over to the other side, and that's going to go off the hands of Ripon and out of bounds for a Charger point, and Leong comes back into the game along with Elizabeth Elke for the Chargers. Leong goes back to serve, trailing by 6, 9-15. Carlson takes the serve. Downs gets it to Kowaleski. Kowaleski with a nice swing. Leong with the set now gets it to Felkowski. That goes off the hands of Brooks. Downs keeps it alive, and Carlson will get it over on the third hit. Overpass by the Chargers. Brooks over to Kowaleski. Kowaleski pushes it over. And now it'll be Bartelt. She gets it to Ebert. Carlson set by Downs over to Kowaleski. Kowaleski gets it over. And now it's going to be Bartelt, and then Downs now sets it for Ripon to Kowaleski. It goes off Elke, and finally off the hand, off a swing by Felkowski. Can't get it over the net, and it goes into the net, so that gives Ripon the point, and Ripon goes up by 7, 16-9. Carson Bauman back to serve. So Bauman gets it over, taken by Bartelt, and it's going to be Tillman, blocked at the net by Ripon, but they get it right back over to Ripon. Kowaleski with the hit goes off Felkowski. Leong and Ebert on the hit. Downs now for Ripon. Kowaleski, and she'll put it down for the point. So Kowaleski gets the kill for Ripon, puts Ripon up by 8 now, 17-9, and Kettle Moraine Lutheran would like another timeout. You're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports. If you or your business would like to support Ripon Tiger Sports, please email riponsports@ripon.k12.wi.us, and we'll get back to you with information as to how you can be a Tiger backer. This year I will have live streaming coverage of Ripon High School boys and girls basketball games, roughly about 40 games, boys baseball, and about 40 girls softball and soccer games, and we might be able to get the possibility of some wrestling in there as well. So it's going to be a full, fun-packed winter and spring season for Ripon Sports. My next scheduled broadcast on Ripon Sports YouTube will be Saturday, October 14th, as the Ripon Tiger Girls Volleyball team will host the East Central Conference Volleyball Tournament at the Tigers Den, with first serve scheduled for around 10 a.m. And that'll all be right here on Ripon Sports YouTube. Carson Bauman with the serve coming out of the timeout, leading 17-9. And Leong with the set. And put over by Ebert. And she has it go off the hands of a Ripon player. So it's a point for the Chargers as they trail by 7, 10-17, and back to serve. Mackenzie Leering, taken by Brooks, set by Downs, and that's Kowaleski. And Kowaleski with a very convincing ball puts it down for the kill, and that puts Ripon back up by 8, 18-10. Hatfield returns to the game for Ripon. Recip will come out. And doing the serving, leading 18-10. Serve goes over, taken by Bartelt. Set by Leong to Hillman. Hillman with a long, hard hit. And that's out of bounds. That's out of bounds. And now for some reason, the line judge is going to say a touch. So they're trying to get a touch on Ripon. I didn't see a touch, but they're going to give it to him anyway. So it's going to be point for the Chargers. Hillman with the serve, trailing by 7, 11-18. And Ripon will put the ball over on the third hit. That was Krumenauer. Leong with the set, and pushing it over was Falkowski. Back to Chargers, over to the far side. Elke gets it over. Downs with the set to Kowaleski. Kowaleski with and they're going to call it out of bounds. They said it was in, but the line judge now saying that it was out of bounds. So now what have we got going on? Apparently it is going to be Ripon point. The up judge said it was Ripon, and give Kowaleski. So Ripon leading by 8, 19-11. Kowaleski with the service there as the ball goes into the net. So now it's going to be Ripon up by 7, 19-12. And coming into the game is number 7, Molly Murphy, along with Emma Lober. Murphy with the serve, and that's going to drop right inside the back line. Ripon thought it was out, so they let it go, and that's going to bring Chargers to within 6, 13-19. And Murphy with the serve once again for the Chargers. That's going to be taken by Brooks. Downs with the set, over to Brooks here on the near side. She gets it over and set, and that goes in the middle of the court, and that goes to Annenson. She tips it over, and that drops for the Charger point. Brings the Chargers to within 5, 14-19, with Murphy serving again. Downs gets it over to Brooks. Brooks puts it over for the Tigers. Sat over to the far side, Falkowski, and Kowaleski reached out, and that probably would have been out of bounds, but Kowaleski gives them the point. So Chargers now to within 4, 15-19. Ripon wants a timeout. We'll take it with them. And you're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube. Your home for Ripon Tiger Sports.
Excellence meets innovation at Ripon Area School District through a commitment to continuous quality improvement. Ripon was awarded $1.9 million in grants to expand support for students and their families with school programming and school-based mental health. Come experience what happens when excellence meets innovation.
Welcome back to Chargers Gymnasium. I'm Bruce Link with your play-by-play. Ripon leading 19-15, but it's Chargers serve, and back to serve Molly Murphy, trailing by 4. So Murphy waits for the Signal from the up judge. She gets it, and the serve goes over, and that's going to be, oh, they called it right on the line. So a point for the Chargers, as the Chargers now to within 3, 16-9, and Murphy to serve once again. So Murphy with the serve, taken by Carlson, set by Downs, behind her to Krumenauer. Krumenauer has it dug out by Leering, and across court by Falkowski, and that's going to drop for the point, and Chargers now to within 2, 17-19, and Murphy with the serve, taken by Brooks, set by Downs, goes to Brooks. Brooks puts it over, dug out by Bartelt, and now on the near side it's Lober, but she'll hit it across court and out of bounds. So Ripon point as Ripon goes up by 3, 20-17, and back to serve for the Tigers is Carlson. Krumenauer comes out of the game. Bauman returns, and Carlson with the serve. That's dug out by Falkowski, but it's going to go out of bounds on the far side, so point for Ripon. Ripon goes up by 4, 21-17, and Carlson with the serve. Leering digs that one out, and that one's going to be a Ripon point. As nobody could get to it, it went under the net instead of over. So Ripon ahead by 5, 22-17, and coming back into the game, McKenna Berg for the Chargers. Carlson with the serve for the Tigers. That's going to be taken by Leering. The set, and a hard hit by Annenson. Ripon point. It's now 23-17. Ripon up by 6. 2 points away from taking set number 4 as Carlson back to serve once again, leading by 6. So dug out by Falkowski. The set behind her. Falkowski goes, and diving for it was Hatfield, and the ball goes out of bounds on the far side. So a point for the Chargers as Ebert returns to the game for the Chargers, and Falkowski back to serve, trailing by 5, 18-23. So Falkowski taken by Kowaleski, and Downs pushed it over right away. The set to Annenson. That's going to go off the hands of Carlson, and a point for the Chargers as it's 19-23. Chargers back to within 4. Falkowski doing the serving. And that's taken by Kowaleski. Downs gets it over to Brooks. Brooks tries to get it over, blocked at the net. Kowaleski tries to put it over, but that goes into the net, so a point for the Chargers, and Chargers now to within 3, 20-23, and Murphy with the serve once again. Serve taken by Kowaleski. Downs with the set, gets it to Brooks. Brooks puts it over, dug out by Bartelt. Over to Annenson, and Annenson gets it over, goes off the fingertips of Ripon, and now it's a 2-point game as the Chargers come to within 2, 21-23, and Molly Murphy back to serve once again for the Chargers. Taken by Brooks. Downs with the set, gets it to Kowaleski. Kowaleski puts it over, dug out, and that goes to Bartelt. Over to the other side, it's Ebert, dug out by Hatfield. Downs, and Bauman puts it over and gets it to drop. Diving for it was Murphy, but she couldn't get to it. It dropped for the kill, so Ripon is at set point 24-21 here in set number 4. Downs back to serve for Ripon. 24-21 set point for Ripon. And that's going to be go off the hands of Bartelt. Ripon wins the set 25-21. We're tied up at 2 sets apiece, and we'll be going to set number 5. We only played a 15 in set number 5, so an exciting night of volleyball here. These two teams not going to give it up, and so it's going to come down to set number 5. I'm Bruce Link with your play-by-play tonight on Ripon Sports YouTube, as we've got a minute between sets the way it looks, And we'll take a short break and be back right after this. You're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube. Your home for Ripon Tiger Sports. Welcome back to Moraine Lutheran High School Charger Gymnasium. It's Ripon and Moraine Lutheran battling out for first place here tonight. If Ripon can win tonight, they will share first place with Moraine Lutheran. If Ripon loses, Moraine Lutheran will take sole possession of first place in the conference, and Ripon will probably either have sole possession of second or possibly tied for second with maybe Kewaskum. We've got to see how that Kewaskum-Winnicott game plays out. So we're ready to get things started here in set number 5. We only played a 15. Downs will open things up for the Tigers by serving here in set number 5. Great crowd here for Ripon tonight to back Ripon. And first point, Downs gets an ace. Diving for it was Elke, and she couldn't get it, so first point goes to Ripon. Downs will serve, leading 1-0. Downs gets it over. That's going to be dug out, set by Leong over to the Ebert. Ebert gets it over. Carlson gets it to Brooks. Brooks puts it over on the third hit. It's Felkowski to Leong, and behind her, Annenson. Ripon blocks it at the net. Bartels over to Ebert, and Ripon gets it back over, and it's a hard hit over by Bauman, and she gets it to drop for the Ripon kill. So Ripon. Oh, I thought it was a Ripon kill. They gave the point to the Charger. I don't understand that at all. So it's 1-1. Leong served. Downs with the set to Brooks, and Brooks with just a little pushover and gets it to drop behind the front line. This time it is a Ripon point. So Ripon leading by 1, 2-1, and Brooks goes back to serve. They must have called Bauman for being in the net or over the line, is my guess. Okay, they said it was out. I've got some pretty good spectators that keep me in line. So the serve by Brooks, set by Leong, pushed over by Annenson, and it's going to be point for Hillman. And it was Hillman that got the point, not Annenson. And so it's 2-2. We're tied up here, and Leering with the serve. Downs with the set to Kowalewski. Kowalewski puts it over, goes off the head of one Charger player. Two Charger players dived for it right in front of the Charger bench. They both get up. They're both all right. Boy, that was a little scary there for a minute. But Ripon gets the point. It's 3-2 Tigers, leading by 1, and Bauman back to serve. So serve taken by Bartelt. Leong with the set to Hillman. Hillman gets it over, and Bauman can't control it. It's going to be a point to the Chargers, and we're tied up at 3 as Annenson returns to the game. Bartelt comes out, and Hillman with the serve. And Brooks gets it to Downs. She at it, Annenson, and she swung too soon. So a point for Ripon, and Ripon goes up by 1, 4-3. Recep exits the game for the Tigers, and Hatfield goes in, and she's serving, leading 4-3. That goes off the top of the tape. Arlette digs it out. Leong with the set, and that's going to go off Kowalewski and out of bounds for the Charger point, and we're tied up at 4. So going into the game, Molly Murphy along with Emma Lober. Murphy will do the serving, tied up 4-4. He only played a 15 in the 5th set. Kowalewski with a nice swing, dug out, got it over Carlson. Now to Kowalewski. That one's dug out by Murphy, and then it's Downs getting the ball back to Kowalewski. Kowalewski, Bartlett, and Murphy. Carlson over to Downs. Downs sets it to Kowalewski. Kowalewski has it go off the hands of Murphy and out the back, and that's good for the Ripon point, and they go up by 1, 5-4. So Kowalewski goes back to serve for Ripon. We're tied up at 2 sets apiece here, and in the final, 5th and final set, Kowalewski with a service error as the ball goes into the net. An exciting game. Ebert returns to the game for the Chargers, and back to serve Falkowski. We're tied up at 5. So that's a long hit out the end line. Ripon keeping a much closer look on those long hits to make sure they are out. So that's a point for Ripon. Krumenauer comes out. Bauman returns. Carlson goes back to serve, leading by 1, 6-5. That's taken by Bartelt, set by Murphy, and that goes right into Carlson, and that drops. That was Annenson that got the kill. And we're tied up at 6, and Bartelt goes in to serve for the Chargers, all tied up. And that one hit right on the end line for the point. That puts the Chargers up 7-6. So Bartelt back to serve once again, leading by 1, 7-6. And that's taken by Kowalewski, set by Downs to Brooks. Brooks has it blocked at the net, and she digs it out. Gets Kowalewski. Kowalewski with a nice swing, and that goes into the net off Murphy, and they can't get it back over on the 3rd hit, so we're tied up at 7 apiece now. As Downs goes back to serve for the Tigers. Hatfield comes out. Recep returns for Ripon. Downs serving 7-7. So serve taken by Falkowski, and diving for it was Murphy, but she couldn't get the ball up high enough for anybody else to get at. And Ripon goes ahead 8-7 here in set number 5. Got a timeout by Kettle Moraine Lutheran. We'll recap the game a little bit. The first set, Ripon took that 25-19. Then in the second set, it was Kettle Moraine Lutheran winning 25-17. And then in a tight set, in the third set, it was Kettle Moraine Lutheran basically coming from behind to win that set 26-24, and then Ripon taking the fourth set 25-21. And now in the fifth set, it's Ripon leading by 1, 8-5. So teams coming back out onto the floor as their 1 minute timeout running down. And on the floor for Ripon, Bauman, Brooks, Resup, Carlson, Kowalski, and Downs. Downs will be serving for the Tigers. Hillman, Murphy, Lober, Ebert, Bartelt on the floor, and also Felkowski. And that one hit by the Chargers and goes out of bounds, so Ripon goes up by 2, 9-7, as Reese Downs goes back to serve. I didn't know if my voice was going to hold out for 5 sets, but I think it just might. And we got another point for Ripon as Felkowski has it go off her hands and out of bounds into the Charger bench. Ripon now up by 3, 10-7. And Downs back to serve once again for the Tigers, leading 10-7. 3-point lead, and that serve going to be taken by Felkowski, dug out by Leon, gets it to Hillman, and pushed over by Downs, and Chargers keep it alive. Hillman gets it over, taken by Kowalski. Downs with the set to Bauman. Bauman gets it over, but it goes cross court and out of bounds in front of the Charger bench. So it's Elke coming into the game and going out, Molly Murphy for the Chargers. Leong will go back to serve, trailing 8-10. And that taken by Carlson. Downs with the set, gets it to Resup. Resup gets it over, and that's going to be a Ripon point as the ball went the wrong way, and then trying to get it to come over and hit it the wrong way again, and it's going to be a Ripon up by 3, 11-8. Chargers want a timeout, and we'll take it with them and be back right after this message from the Ripon Area School District.
The Ripon Area School District mission is empowering learners, engaging community, and enriching the world. Ripon students follow this in early childhood programs, project-based charter schools, K-12 engineering courses, strong fine arts offerings, extracurricular offerings, and the Start College Early program. Come experience what happens when excellence meets innovation.
Folks, I apologize. I did not clear my screen last time when we started, and so at least you got to hear what was going on, even if you couldn't see the whole thing. Ripon leading by 3, 11-8. Brooks with the serve. Coming out of the timeout, it's Leong with the set to Hillman. Blocked at the net by Bauman. And now the third hit by Bartelt, and that's going to go to the back corner, and the line judge will say that it hit on the line for the Charger point, and the Chargers now to within 2, 9-11. So Leering goes back to serve for the Chargers, trailing by 2. So Carlson, Downs with the set to Kowalski. Kowalski with the hit, and that'll fall in the back corner on the far side, and that's a Ripon point. Ripon up by 3, 12-9, as Krumenauer returns to the game for Ripon. Carlson will have a seat, and Bauman goes back to serve, leading 12-9. So serve goes over, taken by Bartelt. Leong and Hillman comes up and puts down a hard swing, and that drops for the point, and they're back to within 2. Annenson returns to the game for the Chargers. Hillman back to serve, trailing 10-12. And that's going to be taken by Brooks. That's going to go the wrong way. Carlson tried to get to it, but she almost ran into the wall trying to do so. So that'll be a point for the Chargers as they come to within one, 11-12, and Hillman with the serve once again. And we've got a timeout by Ripon. So let's hear from the Ripon Area School District once again. You're tuned to Ripon Sports on YouTube. I'm Bruce Link with your play-by-play, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports.
Excellence meets innovation at Ripon Area School District through a commitment to continuous quality improvement. Ripon was awarded $1.9 million in grants to expand support for students and their families with school programming and school-based mental health. Come experience what happens when excellence meets innovation.
Coming out of the timeout, Ripon leading Kettle Moraine Lutheran by 1, 12-11, but it's Hillman serving for Kettle Moraine Lutheran, trailing by 1, and serve taken by Carlson, Downs, and now Kowaleski gets it over, blocked at the net by Felkowski, and that drops for the Charger point, and we're tied up at 12 points apiece. So what an exciting match we've had here tonight. Hillman serves, and that goes out of bounds. Goes out of bounds, out the end line, and Ripon gets the point, and they lead by 1, 13-12. So coming into the game is Hatfield. Risa has a seat. Hatfield will be serving, leading by 1, 13-12. That's taken by Leering. Set by Leong to Hillman, or Annenson. Annenson pops it back over. Downs, and now Carlson gets it over on the third hit. Bartel to Leong. Leong with a quick pushover. Downs sets it to Kowaleski. Kowaleski with the hit. And that's going to fall off a touch by the Chargers. And we are at match point for Ripon, 14-12. So Hatfield back to serve for Ripon. Match point, 14-12, and this Ripon crowd is excited. Serve taken by Bartel. Leong, she gets it over to the other side to Felkowski. A high hit taken by Kowaleski. Downs puts it over on the third hit. Dug out by Leering. Over to, blocked at the net by Ripon. Back over to Kettle Moraine Lutheran, and Ripon wins! Ripon wins! Ripon wins 15-12 over Kettle Moraine Lutheran, and Ripon will get a share of first place with Kettle Moraine Lutheran in the regular season game for regular season East Central Conference Championship. What an exciting night here tonight as Ripon wins it in the fifth set, 15-12. Let me get my breath here for a minute. Awesome night here for Ripon. And Ripon will host the East Central Conference tournament in Ripon. That will be Saturday, October 14th, as the Ripon Tiger Girls will host the ECC tournament in Ripon at the Tigers Den, with first serve scheduled for around 10 a.m. right here on Ripon Sports YouTube, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports. Thanks to you all for joining me tonight and supporting Ripon Tiger Sports. Once again, our final score tonight from the Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School Charger Gymnasium. Ripon wins in 5 sets, 3-2. From Ripon Sports YouTube, your home for Ripon Tiger Sports, I'm Bruce Langston. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining me tonight, and stay safe. And as always, stay Tiger proud.